Audio Jungle.
Welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzerillo with Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight the great work our local businesses are doing. Well, if you're just joining us for the first time, please make sure you subscribe because we want to notify you of all of our upcoming episodes. But you're here now with us, and I'm really excited to introduce to you one of my newest friends, one of the newest chamber members, Miss Mosmi Shah with Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. Mosmi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
It is awesome to have you here. So Mosmi is one of our newest chamber members who's one of those, I'm not going to just dip my toe in, I'm going to go all in. And then she meets folks like me and Alice and Charles. And before you know it, here she is on Business Focus. Well, I'm excited to have you and share your exciting story of business ownership. So this is not your first business, right? You and your husband also have another business
Yes.
in Herndon?
We have a restaurant by the name of Dickie's Barbecue, and we've been open for about a year, and this is my second business now in Reston.
Of course. Oh, sure. A couple of young kids that are younger than 5, couple of businesses. Oh, this is going to be a great show.
I wanted to have lots of kids, so I decided to have instead of having kids, businesses.
Absolutely. Well, actually, your first child, it sounds like it brought you to this business. So let's talk a little bit more. So how did you come to get to Prime IV?
Prime IV. So it's a bit of a personal story. So Prime IV started with my son being born at 23 weeks, and he was super early when I was, and he was in the NICU for about 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, during COVID too. So it was a lot. And when we decided to have our second child, one of my key concerns was staying hydrated, because that was actually what led to my early delivery of my son. So during my first trimester, I was having a very hard time keeping liquids down. And so I had to seek out alternate means of being hydrated, because I just didn't want to repeat history. And I found IV therapy. Though my experience with that was very limited, my research about it was unlimited. I just got really involved and was very curious. And there were so many benefits for folks in all different stages of life that I needed to bring it back to the community, because I was able to gain so much from it. I just see so many benefits coming out of it for everyone, and in all different ages, from a 15-year-old in high school playing lots of sports to an 80-year-old, grandmother who's busy and just trying to stay active, or, dealing with a lot of aches and pains. We have a drip for pretty much everything that falls in between. So,
yeah, and we've talked about this in the past. Hydration is huge. I mean, and that is so much a health benefit, right? That we talk about as far as folks having enough. It's always weight related, but it's also trying to keep all the antigens out of your body and just having a cleanse. So that's a big part of it. We always talk about like seniors having enough vitamins. I mean, I remember with my dad, when my dad was alive, and the doctor always saying there's certain vitamins that he had to have, and who's taking all of that, right? At a certain age. So I know that you got into it for personal reasons, but then when you did your investigation in Prime IV, like what attracted you to that particular business model? Because essentially it's a franchise, which is great, but what attracted you to them specifically?
Yeah, so with Prime IV, there were a lot of things that were done correctly. One of the key things was their compliance piece, how they go about staying in compliant with the regulations from FDA, as well as their own internal protocols are very stringent. They're very big on 797 compliance, which is how mixing of the vitamins and minerals takes place and where it takes place. It has to be a very sterile environment. And so our nurses are trained in those protocols, and we have regular updates to those protocols. They do a review of those protocols on an annual basis, and when changes do come down, they are extremely cognizant of making sure that the franchise partners are understanding of them. and how they need to roll it out to their staff. So they provide tons of hands-on training as well as just documentation that really supports the staff even in the absence of themselves. So that was one of the key things that really stood out. Another item was that I love the CEO. She is so passionate about the service. Living in Colorado, she saw a lot of people dealing with altitude sickness and
Mm.
dehydration, especially in high altitudes. That she started her research and just went down, as she likes to say, a bunch of rabbit holes before she came down to this massively improved a way of living and just a lifestyle change. And she's so passionate about everything that she puts out as a product that I really trust. That to me was huge. Where when I was looking at other brands, because I evaluated several brands in this space before I landed with them. And, she was able to also get a shark from Shark Tank to support her and her processes.
Oh,
So,
well, that's huge. Which
yes,
shark was it?
Kevin Harrington.
Okay.
So, yeah, he actually was on the show, I think, several seasons. And while he was on the show, she never actually made it onto the show, but as an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
applicant, they reviewed her information and he saw her passion and really wanted to support her. So he's still involved in the brand and supports the brand.
Well, I think what you said is key. One, it's great having passionate business owners. I think that the love for the supporting of the community that she serves, right? Her franchisees. But then also the technology behind it, the compliances and the nurses and the certifications. That's huge. And I am not 100% sure that all of the drip places out there have that. So I'm going to guess that's a differentiator.
Yes, very much so. I'm sure they have their own, but I know that they're not as stringent as, or at least not during my research, they weren't as stringent.
From technology and compliance standpoint, but just being in your facility and doing the ribbon cutting a couple of weeks ago, just the environment too. So I know they have some guidelines for colors. And I mean, I know it's like a little bit aesthetic, but I think it's important that you feel comfortable. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a needle person, right? So having, that kind of comfort and relaxation and support is, I would imagine, really important, right? So how do you deal with people? I know you said you've got a couple of friends that, and I'm going to come in and do this. I really am. But how do you get people through it?
Yeah, so no, we actually get clients all the time that are very nervous about getting needles,
Yeah.
and because it's a medical procedure in short, because it is going directly into your bloodstream, and having a professional that knows what they're doing is key. So all of our nurses are registered nurses who have had years of IV insertions in either infusion clinics like my own, or just ER nurses. A lot of my staff members are past ER nurses that are just looking for more preventive solutions than the conventional medication solutions. So that's one way. A lot of them, our nurses are very gentle with our clients. They walk them through it, the entire process. One of my nurses actually goes far as explaining the process to them, just so they're comfortable about why something is getting pushed, what is the amount that is getting pushed. So this is one of those services that we want to educate our clients about before we give them any service, because a educated client is going to be able to speak to their wellness and what their benefits are better than just being told this is what you need, or oh, you want this, okay, have this. We don't see ourselves as order takers, but more so as partners with you on your health and wellness plans.
So can you do the testing so you can advise someone if they're deficient?
So we cannot, we're not certified to do our testing ourselves, but we can recommend the different types of tests that you can do, that your primary care can
Yes.
provide for you. And then with those tests, we're better equipped to actually tell you what is going to benefit you the most and customize those IVs for you so you can see and feel the effect much faster.
Who are you seeing mostly now? Like I always say, like, who's your ideal client or candidate? Because you said you serve from, teenager up through seniors in their 80s. Who would you say is mostly open to this right now? Honestly, it's hydration, like you said. So there's the physical component that you have or had with your first child. And then there's the making sure that you get enough, whatever it is, B12 and energy. And I know you know that one story of your friend who was just down, right? And it was
Yeah.
just not enough energy. Didn't want to leave the house. I mean, that's serious.
Yeah, so my clients right now are a lot of moms, matter of fact, a lot of moms and a lot of women in the age of, and anywhere from the age range of 30 to 65 is what I'm seeing right now. And the specific friend that you were actually mentioning, she has been dealing with some issues that are obviously personal for her, but like depression and feeling
Yep.
low in energy, and to the point where she just didn't want to, as you mentioned, leave the home. And I just asked her, convinced her. She likes to say I have some power over her, but I convinced her to get down to my spa and gave her a Myers cocktail, which is one of our very what we consider our mega drips. Has tons of great vitamins, B12, B complex, vitamin C. It's just a loaded of IV. Along with that, we gave her a vitamin D shot, which is actually a vitamin that is known to help with be a substitute to an extent of antidepressant, because
Mhm.
most of us don't get vitamin D unless we're out in the sun enough. So not getting that does end up causing a depression type symptoms. So even though she's not really a person that is dealing with depression, she was exhibiting those types of signs, and therefore giving her vitamin D helped her. And to the point where she literally called me 2 days later and told me that she did not want to physically get out of the bed, but her mind and her brain was ready to go. Like she was like, she physically was just like, okay, I'm going to have to get up
Ready.
because I need to do. And like,
That's
she was
awesome.
clear. Yeah, able to focus, and just be able to move. And that's the power that you have with these infusions that you don't even think about until you actually experience it.
Well, I love that story. Like I said, I love sharing what you're doing and experiencing. And I know that you have many different programs that people can try it out, or different packages so that people can stay consistent. So what's the best way for folks to reach you before I forget?
Yeah, no, we definitely have tons of different promos right now that are going on for our grand opening, as we just opened in September 21st. But so you can come in and try the IVs out for as low as $100 to getting packages. If you have HSA, FSA benefits from your company, our services qualify for that, and you can just buy ahead of time and then utilize them throughout the following year. And we'll be actually running a promotion at the end of this year as well to help people with those programs utilize them for next year. So
Absolutely. And what we'll do, we'll throw the your information on the screen here in a minute. I wanted to make sure everybody can reach out to you and learn more, because it is fairly new and very amazing technology that I'm just so excited that it is exploding in this area, and we have folks like you that are passionate about sharing it with the community and doing it the right way. So I'm thrilled that you picked up the phone and called the Reston Chamber. I love the story. So why don't you share a minute about what brought you to the Reston Chamber?
yeah, Reston Chamber. I'd been part of the BNI, and wanted to also get involved with the chamber. And I was looking over my tasks to do, and called up Charles, and he was just like, "Yeah, hey, we're having a meeting tomorrow. Why don't you just come in? It's a one-on-one." And I was like, "Okay." And he just gave me a bunch of information about the registration, and he was just so warm and welcoming, even on the phone. So I was excited to go there. And then once I got there, walking into any new business setting, you seem to be a
Yeah,
little nervous and not knowing
of
like
course.
what that impression is going to be. But when I walked in, I met you. I had the pleasure of meeting you and Alice and Alicia, and just people were just so warm and kind. And you guys just helped me get right into it. Get into how and what I need to be doing, whom I should be reaching out to, what events I should be registering for. Just the amount of information and support that I got immediately was fantastic. And it made it almost like a no-brainer when Phil came over to me and said, "Hey, did you want to consider making or becoming a member?" I'm like, "Yeah, here's my credit card."
Love that. I had the same experience 15 years ago with the team back then too, and the people, and it really hasn't changed. And Florence from Sylvan Learning came to your opening too. So it's just right. It's just a really warm community. But no, I did love that story. You're just like, oh my gosh, I love these people. So,
Yeah.
and it's been
And I'm
great
so
to
grateful.
support you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been so good. So yeah, it was great, Mosby, having you on the show. I'm glad that you were able to join us this week. So thank you. And again, we'll have all your information so people can reach out and contact.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thanks for being here. We'd love for you to subscribe, like, share, comment, all those things you're supposed to do on social media and YouTube, because we're really growing our channel and we want to just share more of the great businesses that are out there, our great members, our great nonprofits, all the wonderful things that are happening in the community. So we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Stay in touch with us for future episodes. Like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.